Never be shaken by the negativity. Never be shaken by the ill-informed, ignorant people who are taking platform to say all types of things. Never be shaken.
Welcome back to Inkari It's Time, where we bring clarity to the biggest stories in South African politics. Today we are diving into the latest controversy surrounding Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. Rumors are spreading like wildfire. Claims that he is leaving the EFF and even being sidelined from attending the National People's Assembly in December. What's really going on here? Let's unpack it. There are whispers that Dr. Ndlozi might be banned from attending the EFF's National People's Assembly. This raises serious questions. Is this internal discipline, a misunderstanding, or, as some suspect, a narrative crafted to sow discord within the party?
With the EFF's third National People's Assembly set to take place in December, rumours have circulated of the alleged banning of EFF MP and former spokesperson Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. Political analyst Dr. Levi Ndlozi says that although there is no finite confirmation of such, this could be an effort from certain leadership factions within the party to remain in control.
It creates a perception that there could be some elements of wanting to manage succession in an unfair manner, and which some would describe it as undemocratic. And when a party, and some people will point fingers at a party and say it appears to be undemocratic, that has its own dire implications on the party.
Some believe that Ndlozi is being targeted due to his close relationship with former EFF Deputy President Floyd Shivambu, who left the party in August this year.
At the heart of what could be happening in the EFF are issues that will relate to the proximity of Ndlozi to Floyd Shivambu. And of course, the news that came out, we seek to suggest that Ndlozi and others knew about the departure of Floyd Shivambu some days back, could be the one that has created a situation where the leadership of the EFF could feel that Ndlozi could not be trusted.
The last few months have seen the EFF bleed red, as many of its prominent figures have jumped ship and gone to what they believe to be greener pastures. Dr. Ndlozi believes this conference may be an opportunity for the party to reassess and build momentum.
These are the issues that, in my view, have the potential to test the character of the party in challenging times like this one. And it's also a moment in which the leadership of the party has to rise above all the petty differences and focus on ensuring that there is party cohesion and the party remains relevant to the South African body politic.
The EFF is set to begin their third National People's Assembly from the 12th of December until the 15th. It will take place at Nasrec Expo Centre in Johannesburg. The SABC has reached out for a response from the EFF, but no response has been received by the time of this broadcast.
The National People's Assembly is a crucial event for the EFF, a time to reflect, strategize, and elect leaders. To suggest that Dr. Ndlozi, a founding member and influential voice, could be excluded is both shocking and hard to believe. But let's consider this. Could these rumors be yet another attempt by detractors of the EFF to undermine the party's unity and strength? By dragging Dr. Ndlozi's name into these headlines, are they targeting not just him, but the broader goals of the party?
The EFF heads to its elective conference in December. The recent exodus of senior leaders has led to massive public speculation, with some party members even engaging in discourse around prospective candidates for party leadership. Following Floyd Shivambu's departure, speculation around Mbuyiseni Ndlozi being tipped as a preferred candidate for the role of deputy president has intensified. The EFF also lost its position as the third largest party to the MK party at the polls in May. What would be most sound strategy going into the elective conference next month? Politics commentator and lecturer at the Central University of Technology, Leah Dontoba, joins me now for more on that chat. Dontoba, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this morning. Maybe let's just start off with all the headlines that have been making the rounds on newspapers with regards to Mbuyiseni Ndlozi and possibly being put out of the elective conference that's set to take place next month. Is this anything to go by, especially with also just the social media commentary around whether or not he is still in the EFF?
I think, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi has become a very big point of interest when it comes to the EFF and its future, right? As everybody believes that he's one of those people who could be a really pivotal character going forward, because he seems to be the man of the future when you think about the EFF, in the way in which he's still as radical as Julius Malema, but not as abrasive. But I think the going is still early right now with him being banned, because I think that would be a very, very big test and a big question for Julius Malema going forward. If then somebody like Mbuyiseni Ndlozi can be banned from a people's assembly, then it might get really, really dangerous for what the EFF stands for and what it seeks to become in South Africa.
So as the EFF looks into going into the National People's Conference in next month and electing new leadership, and especially after what we've been seeing with regards to the exodus of some of the big guns within the party, what do you think should be their strategy now in terms of forging a way forward?
In every conference, there's some kind of rigging, some kind of, back and forth that might be not as straightforward as we think the democratic process should be. But I think in this instance, with the exodus of so many members from the EFF to the MK, the election of the EFF should be as open as possible, and also the discussions in their commission should be as open as possible, because now it seems like there is a hunt for dissenting voices, that those dissenting voices that might not necessarily always agree with Julius Malema might be on the outskirts of the conversations of the party. I think the strategy for the EFF now should be one that looks to be all-inclusive, like the ANC is all-inclusive and at times to their detriment, but it keeps the party together because everybody had their fair chance, one, to run for an election, but secondly, everybody had a fair chance to have their voices heard as it pertains to policy positions of the party. And I think that going forward is going to be very important for the EFF, in order for them not to look like a party that just revolves around Julius Malema and his conception of what South African politics are. Even if it's just what the public is perceiving, that perception is hurting the EFF currently.
And with that perception, do you think that Julius Malema is concerned with regards to what that perception is, or what really matters to him at this point in time is bringing back the EFF to its glory days?
I think Julius Malema is really concerned, right? Because remember, all of these things have a sort of like a trickle down effect and also like a dual threat effect, right? If you think about it, the exodus of big party hitters and party insiders is worrying also to the greater demographic of the party who are not clued into the higher structures of the party. And so the more of them leave and the more of them seem discontented, that would actually hurt the party in general and not just Julius Malema's prospects of becoming president of South Africa. It seems that then if this keeps going, the EFF is actually facing its cope moment or its ahang moment, right? Where everything starts to fall apart because in the leadership structures, there is no stability, but there's also no consensus of where the party is going. And that's what it seems like the members who are outside of the MK are saying, that it's now seeming like the EFF is rudderless in bringing economic emancipation to South Africans, which is their mission.
I mean, there are certain positions that would obviously be of not only the EFF's interest, but also public interest going into the People's Conference, and that obviously is that of Deputy President and SG that is currently held by Marshal Dlamini. Will we see players such as Mente Maudwe and now Godrich Gadi sort of keeping and maintaining the status quo with regards to the top positions and what they would possibly occupy?
I think that's going to be very, very interesting. And for me, I think a lot of people should be watching out, one, for the contestation of the president, but also the contestation of chair, since Dalimpofu is now out as well, who was the spiritual chair of the party anyway. Even though the last time he couldn't get the threshold, everybody still assumed that he held that position tightly or was very tightly knit with that position. The next one is Marshal Dlamini, because if you think about it, Marshal Dlamini is from KZN, right? And the reason why he ascended into power was because KZN was heavily punished by the leadership of the EFF before the People's Congress that he got elected into. And his going into the SG position was a political compromise. And now, since it seems like KZN is totally lost to the EFF, what does happen to a Marshal Dlamini? But also, who emerges as a person who comes from a very strong province that is deeply loyal to the EFF? It's not Limpopo for certain. It might not be Free State, because none of the EFF members trust the current EFF members in the Free State, because they're all coming from a deeply embedded ANC position. And I think those contestations are going to be very important in determining who or what the EFF looks like in the future. Because I'm actually thinking that Mbuyiseni Ndlozi might not be gunning for deputy president. I think now it's an all or nothing position for those who are opposing Julius Malema. It's either you beat him or he beats you. But this middle ground that they were standing in order to keep him happy is not going to work for them or the EFF anymore. And I think that contestation that might arise between Mbuyiseni Ndlozi and Julius Malema might be very, very important in the future of the EFF.
Let's also address the silence from Dr. Ndlozi himself. As admirers of his work, many of us wonder, why hasn't he spoken up? If the claims of being banned or sidelines are false, why not publicly clear the air? Dr. Ndlozi, your supporters are asking for clarity. The silence is only fueling speculation. And we know the media thrives on ambiguity. If the rumors are untrue, addressing them could help protect not only your legacy, but the EFF's unity as it heads into this pivotal assembly. To our viewers, what do you think? Are these claims of exclusion from the assembly valid, or just another tactic by those hoping to weaken the EFF? And more importantly, should Dr. Ndlozi break his silence to set the record straight? Drop your comments below. We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching Nkari It's Time. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more insights on South Africa's political landscape. Until next time, stay informed and stay united. Take care.